Good afternoon, YouTube. It's Mallory George Page. Oh, sorry. Good evening, because usually I do a lot of my interviews more, later in the day. But you know what? I appreciate y'all for coming through and joining us. As you know, this has been a great week for me. I've been kind of busy doing interviews, and I really appreciate y'all supporting my channel and supporting my content. Right here, we have a lovely lady who is a natural bodybuilder. And natural bodybuilding been around for a good while, but I hadn't really followed that much. And I saw she did some interviews with a couple of gentlemen who I become acquainted with. That's Dave over at the Female Bodybuilding Forum, and also my man KL, the Wanderer, aka the Go Against Nature. And her story interests me. And as a content maker, especially a content maker about women and bodybuilding, I started, reach out to her, talk to her, and that's just her story. So right here, we have here the lovely Dr. Megan Johnson McCullough, if I got it wrong. McCullough, if I got it wrong, thank you. And she would tell us a story about how she got into this sport and, and what are her future plans going forward for 2023. So, ma'am, tell us and explain to us about the sport of natural bodybuilding and share us your story, how you got into the sport.
Sure. Well, first off, thanks for having me tonight. So I got into natural bodybuilding around the end of 2016, and then I have been doing it ever since. And I've had the chance to go all around the world and compete with different organizations. And the reason I got into it was, as a personal trainer and I own a fitness studio, a lot of my clients had said, well, how come you don't ever do shows like that? And I just said, it's not something that interests me, because I had always seen, the Olympia and things like that. I didn't know that natural bodybuilding existed. And once a friend told me about it, I made a New Year's resolution in December, signed up for a show in March, and then went from there. So it's just been an incredible journey along the way. And the sport is, I think it's almost a little bit of a different sport, right, than non-natural bodybuilding in the way that we prepare and go about with judging and so forth. But either way that you perform bodybuilding, it requires extreme discipline with training and with diet. So it's a sport that tests you both physically and mentally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because with non-natural bodybuilding, you do have to use, many competitors use PEDs, steroids to build the muscle. Because you don't get that big and huge naturally. Because with your division and class, it's more about natural working out, just following a diet. About the same with the IFBB, NPC level competitors, but like I said, you don't use supplements and other muscle enhancers to develop your muscle.
Right. So our physiques might look a little different because we're not able to achieve the same amount of muscle mass or growth in a shorter period of time. So it takes, right now I look better than I've ever looked, but you have to think that my journey started in 2016. So it's a long process, right? Mm-hmm. And, we're not able to, we get drug tested at the shows. Different organizations, usually it's a urine test, and then you get the results back. And, so if you step on stage, your honesty counts, and you're based a lot on symmetry, a lot of the same standards that the other organizations have. It's just a little bit different in terms of really, I would think just like the mass and the size.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's a big difference. Because there's a difference between, if you look at guys like, if you go over to men's bodybuilding, you look at guys like Big Ramy, how massive he is, how big he is, and it's and that's not by just lifting weights and eating carrots. He's taking stuff. We all know that. And you look at your competitors and you're over there, and it's like more like how the body used to go. Like it's human body is a very mysterious machine, and
right.
It's just if you put in a lot of good work to it, you see some guys who like, I remember cats like my old brother. When he was growing up, we used to take cinder blocks and stuff, and you lift the weights. We couldn't afford the real weights, and we built muscle that way. You can go out and just maybe good old fashioned push ups, pull ups, but you're not gonna get the mass like the guys in the other division. But you're gonna be more in better condition.
Right. So I always get a lot of compliments on my conditioning and symmetry, that my top matches the bottom half of my body. So but it almost feels like it's hard to compare the two different sports, because I mean, they almost feel like two separate sports, just in the way that you visibly, see what we look like.
Hmm. So there's a big difference because if you put you side by side, because you're what class you compete in division?
So I compete. My four main classes are the sports model, athletic, fitness angels, and then the one piece swimsuit. So I don't even think that those other organizations often offer all of those different categories.
Because I
Some
think
of them.
yeah, well the closest that they get for NPC and AVP is fitness, but they don't do the whole thing
Right.
sports part. They used to. I mean, back in the day when fitness started, there was they had a dress part, they had the two piece and the one piece because that, and then they had the part when they did their performances. But after a while, because it was so long, they cut out the dress part and the one piece, and you just have the two piece and the performance part. But and
Hmm.
it's kind of like somebody might say closer to like maybe those old school beauty pageants kind of performances where you dress up
Yeah,
and all
and
that.
a lot of natural bodybuilding organizations have those categories, and even separately. So fitness would be more of just a routine where you do, whatever it is that your performance will be. Usually it's more like acrobatic or something like that. And then there's a whole separate category called evening wear.
Hmm.
And we have that. And then there's other organizations that have a category called fitness model. And that's where you do a one piece, a two piece, and an evening wear. So
Hmm.
different places, have different categories that they offer. And yes, the shows are very long because of that.
Well, we're gonna go over here and look at your social media. This is
Hmm.
and I just let me go back over here quick, and we look at some pictures you have and something you posted. Like I say, we I always should try to give me a second. 'Cause I had it. Yeah, there it is. All right, and we will see your like I said. This is your IG page,
Hmm.
and there's you. What kind of that's a nice car.
I actually got to do a photo shoot for Jay Leno's mechanic.
Oh
So that's
wow,
a car collection from Jay Leno. He also works on the Rolling Stones car. So that was a really cool experience.
yeah, that's pretty cool. And this is here. You working out here, right here. You know,
Hmm.
you're doing the one arm push up like Rocky. Rocky. Oh, I see the other arms under your hair. But yeah, you put in a lot of work, and also, like I said, you also train. This is one of your clients right here.
Yeah, so I have a pretty big YouTube channel too, but I own a personal fitness training studio in Oceanside, California, and so I offer small group and one-on-one uh, services for mainly for general fitness and weight loss. And also, I am part of the Medical Fitness Network, so I work with a lot of special populations.
And it goes by Everybody's Fit, and it's
Mm-hmm.
in San Diego, and you look like this is a picture right here. I mean, wow, you have this, you pretty. I mean, you look borderline. Maybe like if you go NPC level, you could almost look like maybe a figure competitor because that's another vision
At
where.
one at one point when I first started, I did do figure, and that was my main category. And then my body changed during COVID because my mental health was like a wreck. When I had to shut my studio down
Ooh,
for 3+ months, and so it just felt like everything had been stripped away from me. And that's when I wrote my books during that time period. I needed something to do, and a purpose and a plan and a way to still help others. But in that I was still exercising, but I was running Like a friend and I would literally run 10 miles like 3 times a week. It would take like 2.5 hours, and all I did was burn through my muscle. But at that point, that was all the working out I could really do because the gyms were closed. And so my body completely changed.
Yeah.
And so I went from having just a bigger, fuller look to being like unhealthy skinny to then having to build all that back. And now I'm at where I am today, and I'm more of a like fitness model athletic look.
Yeah, because I know when the virus, I call it virus. I don't like to call it by its name because I respect because it affected my family because my mother, she got it, and
Hmm.
and it's been like 2 years since she passed away. And I know a lot of people, the gym is their therapy. It's like, the place they go to is their church, their therapy, and it was a lot difficult for a lot of people who couldn't compete. Some people eventually had to even build their own gyms at home so they can have something
Hmm.
to do. And you said you wrote a book, and what's the book? And what was the book about again? You mentioned it.
Well, I've written a series of books, so they're actually behind me here, but I have 4 books that I've written in a series. I have 2 cookbooks, and I've got a children's book coming out, and my research studies being textbooks. I've got a lot of books, but the 4 books that I wrote starting in COVID are a series about addiction and my relationship with my mother. So my mother was an alcoholic, and she passed away due to the disease. And that transpired into all of my research about the effect and influence of exercise on alcohol use disorder and how it affects substance abuse. So all of my books have a butterfly theme, and that's why I have like the butterfly tattoos. And because I believe that my mother's spirit is a butterfly that's always with me. And so I think you can transform yourself through exercise, and that exercise is medicine and healing. So that also kind of goes back to the initial question that you asked me. And when I said, I didn't really want to do competitions until I knew about natural bodybuilding, because I have that addicted gene where it's all or nothing. So if I were going to get into something and start using, performance enhancing drugs, I'm an all or nothing person. And so that's a dangerous line for me to cross. And until I learned about natural bodybuilding, that's when I was like, okay, that's something that I can do and get obsessive about and get addicted to, but I'm not going to necessarily harm my health.
hmm I gotta say because I myself and I had several family members that had addiction. It was drugs. I had me. It was food. I never drank. I never smoked. I never take any kind. But I did have addiction to food. And then dealing with my mother's her medical issues and stuff like that. Anything is addictive. It's especially drink, food, sex, money. It's all
Anyone
addictive,
can
no matter.
become addicted to anything.
Yeah, and it's just
So
hard sometimes.
that's what my second book was about.
hmm And do you also do any counseling? Because I know you are a doctor. Is it a PhD or is it more like a psychology? Is your doctor
It's an
in?
EDD, so I do work with I do have a specialization as a drug and alcohol fitness recovery specialist. So I do work with persons in recovery and help them through their program. But essentially, I become part of their comprehensive treatment program. And then, actually, in just a couple days, I have a cell phone app releasing, and it's called Fit Pace. And PACE is an acronym for Proactive Awareness Controlling Excess. And I came up with that from my research study and all that I've done. And it's about pacing yourself. It's about using exercise as a tool during your recovery, but the problem is that exercise can become addictive just as well. So we don't want to use it as a replacement therapy. So you pace yourself and you become aware of your behaviors before you've crossed the line of excess.
Mm-hmm,
And so the app has, uh, daily exercise program, and you're logging your days sober and your days performing exercise. And so that's really empowering to see that you're doing something positive for yourself, and to say, hey, I'm on day 48 of, of not drinking. and I'm on, I've been exercising for 30 days. It's very, it's a great tool. Hopefully I'll be able to have some success with that and have doctors refer their patients to it.
That's a good thing. We're gonna go back here because she's also one thing I found out about it. She plays basketball. It's like she used to play basketball when she was younger. Because I look at her here on social media, and
Yeah.
and use your basketball in your teens. Kind of like you remember
Yeah.
the Charlie Murphy True Holly story talk about Prince, how Prince used to
Yeah.
play basketball.
That's the best episode.
No. It's the Rick James. The Rick James is there. I like Prince.
Right.
But Rick James, Charlie Murphy, but that was a true story about Prince because he used to play basketball. And you said the interview with my man KL, yeah, you were a point guard, and that's pretty good. You talk about one of your favorite players is Steve Nash. That's a legend.
Yeah, that's my pugs' names are Steve Nash and Scottie Pippen.
Scottie Pippen, like I remember when Michael Jordan came back and they were talking shit like, we didn't want Michael Jordan back, but Scottie, you what did you do? I mean, his first thing, James Jordan, his father was killed in my county right here. He was only like when we found him, his car was only like 30 miles from where I live in North Carolina. Right here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's something, and you said in previously your father was a basketball coach. He didn't coach you, but he coached boys.
Yeah. So my dad is actually the winningest coach in California high school history. He coached boys, so he was never my actual coach, but of course he influenced my love for the game. And I played in college. I got a full ride scholarship, and now when I do the sports model, you get a moment to do a little routine, and so I show my handles and my dribbling, and it's really fun, and it brings back a lot of good memories of playing ball back in the day.
So you play ball, be shirts against the blouses.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And then the pancakes.
Blouses. and that's good to have that talent. I didn't play little basketball when I was younger, like when we had PE like that. I'm only 5'7", so I'm not that tall for it. I used to play football and baseball. Those games were easier for the short guys. Folks, if you want to follow Dr. Johnson, her information in the description. Reach out to her if you're interested in maybe talking about therapy with your addictions. Also, if you want to even get a little training in. I think, do you online training too?
Yes, absolutely. So I have, of course, my in-studio clients, but then I also do a lot of FaceTime training, and a lot of people even video into my group sessions. So that's a positive that came out of COVID, was the whole being able to it just opened up. I've got clients in New York and Texas, and I never would have reached other people had we not gotten into the whole Zoom and Google Meets platforms.
StreamYard, yeah.
StreamYard.
Yeah. See, what I learned like this: wars and pestilence brings in new technology. Things change when you have wars. Like during the, I remember somebody said we have during the Cold War, the internet grew from that. During wars like Vietnam, that's when cell phones really came from that. I mean, it's just things happen, and you get new technologies. But sometimes people can take advantage of that technology. But like I said, folks, if you want to reach out, check her, her social media stuff in the description. But this is why I tell guys out there, and they're not gonna listen. And this is what I'll tell you: no D pics. She got a husband, she got family, she's a businesswoman. Don't do that, fellas. Respect this lady. She is a doctor, a professional. And how long it took you to get your doctorate?
Let's see. I started it. It took about almost 5 years. So it was the hardest thing I ever have done in my entire life. And then I graduated last May. And then going back to the basketball, my school is in Chicago. So we got to see the Michael Jordan statue and where the Bulls play. And my husband is like the biggest Bulls fan ever. Of course, they lost the playoff game that would have let them have another home game right before we went. I was willing to pay anything to go to that game, but yeah. So I've had pugs my whole life, and a pug that I had who passed away, he lived to be 15. His name was Phil Jackson. So
Uh,
seriously, basketball is just it's has a special place in my heart, and then being able to compete on stage, brings back that competitive nature that, you don't always have in adulthood, but I miss from basketball. I miss performing like it was a stage. The court was a stage. And my mom was a world champion baton twirler. So she was on the stage too. So that's where I get a lot of my liking to be in front of others and putting on a show.
yeah, that's the thing about our mothers. For boys, our mothers are our first love because I loved my mother, and she always supported me every do. I supported her when she got sick. I stood by her, and and I miss her. Like I know you miss your mom. And
Mm-hmm.
your dad still around, or
Yes, my dad's still around. He's 71 now. So he's still here, and he's retired from coaching. He did some college, Loyola Marymount, San Marcos, and he did a little ABA with the Ball brothers. That was interesting. But basically he stepped out away from it just because it's like all the travel. I mean, he's not a young buck anymore, and he's just kind of like taking a step back and spending time with his grandkids and hanging out.
and yeah, it's nice. It's good because my father he was kind of in and out of my life, but I learned some things from him. Just to be a better parent sometimes. But I don't have kids, but that's just me. But as just as you feel, do you feel like your sport needs to be more recognition? As everybody pays attention to the other division, NBC and IFBB. You think your sport doesn't get the attention like it should, as and especially it seems like it's a little more healthier. But it seems like everybody, like especially me, I know I pay attention a lot more to bodybuilding because just like I said, I have respect for these ladies. I like my brother used to play football. He used to collect the muscle mass, or Schwarzenegger, Lee Haney,
Mm-hmm.
those guys. And then the women was something different. And to see that women can take and build their bodies like that, you feel like you get overshadowed compared to the non-natural bodybuilder.
Well, I mean, a lot of it has to do with profit and money, right? So things like the Olympia generate a lot of attention and a lot of ticket sales. And I mean, I've been to an NPC show, and they charge more at the door, but I mean, it's a full room, it's packed. I mean, you could even compare it to like the WNBA, right? They don't make as much money as the NBA, so they don't get the TV time and they don't get the same attention. And it's just getting if the chance to maybe get it out there more live stream, just I mean social media, I mean it's a culture in and of its own, and a big community with many different organizations, and the opportunities are there, and it's just I'm not sure how you would get more people to attend shows and more people to see it. Other, it's a niche in and of its own, so it just doesn't have the same back history other than like the AAU long time ago when they had bodybuilding. It's just it hasn't been really put in the spotlight, so I don't think a lot of people even know about it. They just kind of lump bodybuilding all together in the IFBB and NPC worlds.
hmm Like you might be saying, say, yeah, oh, I say, hey, make what you do for a living. Say, well, I'm a coach, a trainer, and say, yeah, I'm also a bodybuilder, and say, oh, you take steroids? You're like, you're buffed up, you're like, you got like,
Well, actually, they look at me like this. So, like, if someone comes in and they're interested, and we do a little training consultation, and they go like, "Oh, do you still compete?" And I go, "Yeah, I just had a show last week." It's because they don't think that I look like what the stereotype looks like, and they're like, "Oh," and it's like I'm kind of insulted a little bit, but at the same time, I'm like, they don't know. So,
yeah, that's what is. I think with people's minds, they think of bodybuilding, they think of huge, muscular dudes, big, but they don't think about the natural bodybuilding. They don't think that people can do it naturally. It's I think it's a lot. It's a little. I think I think in a way there, even though there's so much difference, there's still you have to be one thing. You have to be consistent. You have to follow a diet. You have to work out. You have to be, take. You have to do recovery. You may not use the supplements or the whatever muscle enhancers that they use, but you still have to follow those guidelines. And like it's anything, if you want anything, you have to work hard at it. You just can't just okay, I lift a couple of weights, boom, I'm this. No, you have to be consistent with your workout, with your
Right.
diet, everything
Either
else.
way you go about it, you do have to, like I say, work out, train hard, eat healthy and clean. But what you see is the result is different. So we're both going about it the same way, but you've got something that is, you know, able to be added into the equation when you do use supplements. So the result is different. And so that is why I wouldn't step on stage and be compared to someone because we didn't go about the strategy to our game plan and to the result is not the same. So we're going to look differently.
Hmm. So, what was like your first competition? When you first got on stage, what was that feeling?
Well, I had no idea what I was doing. And I look at pictures of the posing and it's like embarrassing. But I did the novice category. And what was really neat about my first competition was that it was local. And there's hardly been any shows that I've been able to do locally. And it happened to be my first one. So it's like I had all my clients go. I probably generated the entire audience there in ticket sales. And I had just I I had my friends, my family there, and everyone was cheering. But I mean, I had no idea what I was doing. Was I nervous? Yes. I mean, I went from being a baller, right, with basketball shorts and high knee socks to a bikini. So I felt a little bit out of place. And then, of course, like I'm kind of like a daddy's girl, right? So it's like I get up out there on stage and it feels like you're half naked and you're like, okay, this is like kind of weird now. But I've learned to love it. I've learned to really, you get up there and you present your package and your body and you really get to demonstrate the hard work that you've put into it. And it makes me feel really feminine and really just really great about what I've achieved and what I've worked for.
Hmm. I remember one of my favorite comedians, Chris Rock, said that a daddy's job is to keep his daughter out of clear heels. Clear heels, clear heels. And this is one of my old jobs. I used to have a couple of jobs. I used to work with a lot of women. My first job, well, my first real job was working in textile. I used to work with women every from morning to evening. And then later on I got another job where I worked at a gentleman's club, as they call it. We call it down here,
Okay.
it's a booty club, and you see the girls in the clear heels. So you get, but it's like I said, I think, being that's the thing about. I know I talked to somebody who said that, especially in the other division, they had to say like they'd be like kind of like it's like get out there and you kind of be scared and kind of like because you got to present yourself, to judges and to people looking at you, and it's just that's the thing about that. It's just you if you want to get to that the next level, be a champion, you gotta get out of your own way and don't use like your own internal fears to block you. Because sometimes it's good to say what, let me try something, see how I do. If I do good, I don't good. I do good. If I do bad, I do bad. And one of my favorite quotes is I'm doing a lot of quoting because one of my favorite movies is Batman Begins. Why do we fall, Master Wayne? So we learn to pick ourselves up.
Right. I mean, you win or you learn. So it's not a sport for everyone. And, your stage presence is really important when you get up there. And so I think that with anything, with experience comes confidence and you do better and better. It's a sport that, it it can be difficult sometimes because it's the art of comparison, right? You're always comparing yourself to other people and their bodies. And so sometimes that might be not so good for some people, especially with, because we are influenced by what we see, and we would compare ourselves to other people, and that can be really tough. And how you take that feedback and criticism, or your placing, um, our body image and our self-efficacy is so important. And so I think that for some people, we can get a chip on our shoulder and carry on and be resilient, and for others, it's not the sport for everybody.
Hmm. Yeah, I think one thing is like some people, like, especially with one thing was that the judges have a lot of control. They could say, okay, you be wondering, wait a minute, I came in my best condition. Why this chicken looks like she's holding water or something? Why could she get first place? I get second. And then the judge would say like, well, Megan, you just was a little off in something or this or that. And, and even in the NPC IFB, I've seen shows where I've seen women who were in great condition. Just everything is just pop. But then it's always one thing that sets off. Like I just like I was talking with a lady all earlier before I got to you. She's a IFBB pro, and we were talking about how I don't know if you watched Olympia, how Sarah Vilgas came up a little softer against Natalia Coelho. And then I remember I was a lady who I did an interview I met a while back with Shauna Boswell. She competed at a show, and she looked great. But then she lost the other competitor because there was something off about her back. What?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What is like when you do routine? What is your least favorite body part to work, and which is your favorite body part to work?
Let's see. I mean, so there's like I like them all. I've really loved watching my back transform and get better and better. So sometimes I feel like when I turn around, it's like boom, hit him with the back. And my shoulders have gotten better. Um, what takes more energy out of me, and that it's hard to get like your mojo to want to go work out, would be legs for me. When I was in college playing ball, I went up for a layup and the girl undercut me and I tore my ACL and meniscus. So I had to have, the surgery for that. So getting really deep on leg press or squats, any of that, it's tough for me. I wouldn't say that, I've come a long ways, like on the hamstring curl. I couldn't even use any weight on it. I had to pull the pin out. And now I can get to like the third or fourth pin on whatever the machine is, but it's still not a lot. So legs for me have kind of been a journey of getting stronger and stronger. And so I really want to have the striation, the lines in the back of my legs with the hamstrings. And I'm getting there. I can get better and better. So that's kind of what motivates me, is to get those, to be able to turn around. I've got the back. Now I want the legs and the glutes to complement it too. And it's there. It's just, it could be better and better.
Yeah, I know what some ladies I talked to that. Yeah, leg day is awful. It's like remember that part in when they beat up Rick James? He's like, hey, Charlie Murphy, you know my legs. It has to be like coming out of the gym doing legs. And the back, I think some ladies it can be difficult because in fact you can't see as well compared to you you see your pecs, your chest, your everything else. But the back you really have to put. And I think there's some shows I've seen where sometimes that's the one body part that really separates first from second, But like I said,
yes, and I have an incredible coach, and that's basically, he's like, that's going to be the difference maker. So.
And who's your coach?
He doesn't like me to say his name or anything. He doesn't want to take any credit, but he's awesome. I've been with him since the beginning, and he knows what he's doing. So, and that's the thing. I'm a coach's daughter, so I love to be coached. And even as a trainer and with all my experience, I need the accountability, and I need someone to throw that weight on the leg press and all of that, because I just won't do it by myself. It's like, I don't want to, I can't. I like working out in groups. I like working out with other people. I don't like working out by myself and staring at the wall or whatever the machine is that I'm on. So I just need that energy, and that I think that maybe that comes from basketball and being on a team. So, and just like being around other people.
Yeah, I'm gonna say because I played high school football. I remember we were in weight rooms, and we were like, "Lock it out, lock it out." I remember one guy said, "I was by the time I was 16, I was already bench pressing about 400 pounds, squatting about 600 pounds." I had one of the guys said, "Damn, George, you strong." He asked me this question. I said, "George, you ever had some?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, son, you cock strong," and and that's what it is. Especially when you have that camaraderie, you have somebody who's the root behind you, stand behind you. But then when you get into the real world, like what happened to me, you just, you don't have that, I don't feel like workout. Like I said, I just started, like I said, we're dealing with my mom, like I said, with her situation, I was almost 500 pounds. And then
Mm-hmm.
when she passed, I decided, you know what, I gotta take care of me. My family was telling me, George, you need to take care of yourself. I know you take care of mom, but you need to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you know what, I gotta take care of myself. Like I said, I worked out. I didn't go back. I didn't go to the gym because it was Easter, you're around the family, and that good stuff, and I was working out this afternoon and this morning, and then I worked out early this week, and it's just that you got to keep yourself together. So sometimes I listen to music that helps me keep me motivated. Like
Mm-hmm.
I might listen, like there's it's like this guy has this he makes this a song with Rocky Balboa, because remember Rocky, he says it's not matter how hard you hit, it's how hard you get hit and keep moving forward. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, you gotta keep moving forward. You gotta keep going. So there's some days I know I'm laying in my bed. I get up in the morning. I say I don't want to lay. I love you. I hug my pillow like it's a woman, and I don't want to go, but you know what? I gotta go work out. I gotta do something. I gotta because I was, like I said, I'm now under 400 pounds. I'm like 395, and that's been 2 years of hard work. Here's my man here, our dear friend KL the Wanderer. He says, "Hello, hello there, KL.
Oh,
Thank you for coming
hi.
through." Yeah, because I saw his interview with her, and I said, you know what? Like I said again, I said, you know what? This is I never really know much about natural bodybuilder. I heard about it, and I was really curious about it because the fact is that's why I invited him to come interview. And I saw an interview with David over there at a female bodybuilding forum,
Mm-hmm.
and it just really I think I really like to learn more because, like I said, my channel I do a lot of content on bodybuilding, mostly the NPC and IBB, and I try to educate, also have a little fun, and tell people that you ladies, you work hard, you train hard, you deserve just as much recognition as your male counterparts, but you don't get it because the fact is people are not comfortable with the idea with women being muscular and fit. The idea of femininity of women to be soft, to be feminine, to be a woman, to be a mother. Men, our
Mm-hmm.
purpose in life is this: battle, breed, and and to die. That's it. That's just we just go out there, fight wars, make babies, and everything else. It's done. But with women, it's supposed to be, okay, have babies, nurture, be like this. But you're, like I said, you're an athlete. You want to be recognized for your athletic abilities.
Right.
Hmm. Also, we got my man here. He's saying yes. Yeah, it was interesting to interview her. Thank you, Doctor, McLaughlin, and appreciate your man, KL.
McCullough, you guys
McCullough, McCullough. I'm
you be
sorry. I'm
spelling my
sorry.
last name wrong, saying my last name wrong.
Yeah,
It's all
he
good.
said,
It's right
yeah,
there.
he's the one who put it there,
See, it's spelled wrong there too.
yeah, it's McCullough. It's just McCullough. I mean, get it right, man. You're messing me up. You make me look bad. You know, I'm so sorry about my, he just, but
It's all good.
all right,
I'm
but
happy that you both I've gotten to speak with both of you. It's been really great, and I'm really honored to be the first natural bodybuilder that you guys have spoken to, and to really kind of get that information out there and kind of have a platform for the sport that maybe people are unaware of. And if maybe these interviews inspire someone who wants to make a change, natural bodybuilding, and sign up for a show and see where they can take their fitness level, then do it.
hmm yeah, because like I said, this is the thing about people need to recognize that what they're gonna do. They're gonna try to lump your sport into with the other division, but it's totally different.
It
It's
is.
about, yeah, and people need to recognize that. I've talked to a lady. She also does natural bodybuilding. Her name is Kelly. I don't know if you know her or not, and she also does natural bodybuilding. I'm hoping maybe
I know
when
a
she
lot
gets,
of Kellys, so I'd have to know her last name.
I think it's a fever. I think it's a
Okay.
fever. Yeah, and
You guys and last names are terrible.
yeah, I know. I sometimes, yeah, it's me. I'm from the South. My accent may be different, but yeah, but it's just that even though the sports are different, as I said again, it's about the same thing, the same path, being consistent. Getting up in the morning. There's times we don't want to go to the gym, but you want to get to that next level. And that's why I do this content to recognize you ladies, because I not just talk about women body, but also talk about like sports like MMA, where there's some similarities to that in bodybuilding. How the ladies don't get much recognition, you don't make as much money. It's about recognizing that even though you're not going to get the same quality of recognition and also respect as the men, you deserve it just as much as they do. My man, KL says, yeah, some people get my last wrong. Yeah, we okay, well, we don't care about your name, but anyway. But is there any plans what's your plans for this season? Are you taking a break? Or or just focused on something else because you get your gym, your books. What's the plans for this year, 2023?
I am lining up what shows I'm going to do. I do plan to go overseas and compete in May, so that's something I'm motivated by and looking forward to doing. And then there's a couple organizations I really enjoy, the IPL, ICN, and AAU, and so it just kind of depends on location and timing. I do have a couple things with speaking events, so I have to work around those. I'm really excited with the children's book I have coming out, which is the story of my coach and I. So my coach is the butterfly and I'm the pug, and it's the story of me becoming a bodybuilder. So that's in the works. Like I said, the cell phone app, the Fit Pace app is coming out, and another research book. So I've got some good things, all fitness related and all health related. So I haven't exactly said I want to do this show or that show. I really don't like to like register super far in advance. I kind of I don't know, I kind of keep it under the radar and then I get there. So, but I do plan to I usually do at least 3 shows a year. So I'll pick 3 and then it always ends up being like 4 or more. But I try to, my husband's like, okay. And I'm like, okay, 3. And then, oh, what about this one?
You said
So
like
he
you
loves
said,
traveling with me and doing it too. So
that's good because it's like a lot of people don't realize that it takes somebody special support somebody in this sport, especially and I like I said, I do content. Like I said, I do a lot of content about bodybuilding, and a lot of people back in the day didn't think that women bodybuilders could have kids and have husbands, and some thought they were come say come sa, but there's plenty of women like yourself who are married, who have children, who have a lot of responsibilities, and to be able to maintain as an athlete and also still become a wife and a mother, to go home, take care of family. Then you get up and you have to go work out. Then you have to go pick up the kids from after school, or you have to go fix the meal for your husband, or he'll fix the meals for you because and that's the thing is it's good to have that. Oh, he don't cook.
I mean, he's my biggest cheerleader, but I own a gym. He doesn't work out and he eats whatever he wants. But it's hilarious when we go to a show and someone and he's like standing next to me and they're like, "Oh, what categories are you gonna do?" And he's like, I don't compete." And it's just pretty funny because I mean he's naturally he's good looking and I mean he has a perfectly fine physique, but it's kind of funny when someone asks him that and he's like, "Are you serious?" Like I don't even remember the last time I worked out. So
Yeah, I know how it is. He's a big dude. He look and say, or you can't tell. Say, your wife's the bodybuilder, and you just not. Okay. I don't know. My man KL is going also. There is a company I used to work for called the Epoch Times, a news media that they have fitness section in the newspaper. Maybe you could write an article. I don't know. And also he says You know,
Yeah.
I could try to help if it's possible. Yes, folks. And said again, you know, if you are someone out there, I say it's quite often, even this sport, it is a hobby sport, and it is expensive. You know, it's the cost of buying. You have to have your suits. You have to get paid for your team. I know you have your main coach. Also, you have your coaches for other stuff too. And this is what people should do. Like this, I generally say this: if there's somebody out there who's interested in sponsoring an athlete like Dr. Megan here, who wants to see her get to the next level, and don't be this way guy saying like, "You're a pretty girl, nigga." I mean, and no, don't be that guy. Be this guy saying, Doctor Megan, I want to really help you get to the next level. I would like to sponsor you. If you anything you need from me, let me know. I'm happy to get it for you. Or just let me. We just set everything else. Like if you need to, if you need to travel somewhere, we'll get your plane tickets. If you need to, get set your hotel, we go ahead and make the reservations. If you need to get a car, those little things that helps out, especially in the pocketbook. That
Absolutely.
I would appreciate it. So, what would you say to somebody who decided, what, I might want to try natural bodybuilding? What advice would you give them?
I would certainly say that you want to be in a good place in your life to dedicate the time to it. So if you have a lot of distractions, um, or you have like a trip coming up, or I mean, I'm at the point where you know, I can be sufficient in that if I go somewhere, I don't need to indulge in the alcohol or in the food that's there. I'm strong enough mentally, and I have the relationship with food and with my lifestyle bodybuilding to just not be able to do it. But if you're constantly in an environment that is testing and challenging you with temptations, then it, it might not be the best time or place. So you need to create an environment that's conducive to the sport. I think that's really important. Otherwise, you're going to feel deprived and you're going to feel almost, upset and stressed out that you're not able to enjoy life like you want to.
Yeah, I can understand because it's being a fat man myself, and sometimes, I'm getting a little smarter in my food, but then the times I'd be like, Chris Rock and New Jack say, I'd be cooking this, and man, be calling my name, man, be calling me, man, be calling my name, be calling my name, and there's some, and temptation is just like this afternoon after I work out, did a little shopping, pick a little stuff, and then I stopped and I got something to eat, and it was Mexican. All it has rice and some chicken, and I ate a couple of those tortilla chips they give you, and
Just a couple.
I took the rest of them. I bagged them up. I gave to my brother.
Okay.
He ate the rest. I just so you're sitting there, you just waiting for your food. You're like, okay, I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna eat.
Well, to your point, food is a drug. And the behavior of eating is something that we have to do to survive, right? So unlike other substances, you can go without cigarettes, you can go without alcohol, but you can't go without food.
Okay.
And so you really do need to learn how to create a healthy relationship with your eating. And that is way easier said than done because we have an emotional connection to food that our gut is our second brain and we crave it and we desire it. And so it's normal to kind of be in a place where you want to overeat or you want to have something that you really shouldn't want to have. It's the art of temptation that tests us, and so it takes a lot of willpower. And not only does food affect your your physical well-being, but it affects your mental too, like your mood, your energy levels, all of that.
Yeah, and we just get over two big holidays, Christmas and Thanksgiving. I did eat a little smarter these last couple of years. I mean, I didn't like blow my plate. I had a little this, a little that, because and then you're around your family, around your people, and sometimes you just just let go for a minute and just like what, that cake smells good. You know, that ham looks good, and and just you have to fight it. Like I got a little smarter. Like when I eat food, I don't drink like a juice or something like that. I try and drink more water.
Okay.
Like one thing was because of my high blood pressure and other stuff, I try to put too much salt in my food. Like when I cook something, I might steam some broccoli and chicken. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it's a process, and it's putting a lot of work. My man KL, he also mentioned this. KL, which he just dropped this while ago. He said, "Natural bodybuilding sounds like a long period of fasting, and fasting is not good. You don't want to fast, even in the NPCIB level. They don't fast. They mostly eat maybe 5 6 meals a day.
Right.
And you need food. Food is like I saw this guy. He said this. This guy, he's a trainer, also a coach. He said that food is it's more important than whatever PEDs or whatever stuff you're using because food is a process. You can't build a body without food. He also says they put a lot of chemicals in these foods, so we might not be aware of. And yeah, I saw was it it was I watch a lot of PBS because I don't watch too much cable much anymore. And I saw a story how they started the process, how they created the FDA for the Food Drug Administration because the fact was they were putting in stuff that was used like a bombing stuff. They use chemicals and stuff, and that's dangerous. And people didn't think about it because the fact was most of this chemicals used to keep the food processed, but it's not healthy. Like
Well,
why?
the best advice I can give to any client is to get rid of processed foods in their diet. You'll lose weight right away.
Mm-hmm. Because that's what I do. Like I go to like we have Food Line down here, or go to Walmart, and I ask for the food. Like I get the stuff they can cut up right in front of me, and I get like
Mm-hmm.
and that's I've been doing that. I say I've tried to stay maybe for the processed food. Maybe down there I might eat a hot dog because it's a hot dog, But it's just it takes a lot, especially
It does.
it's a lot. My man KL once again he keeps talking this shit. George, it's good time to be a vegetarian. He just said the same thing the other when we did my other interview. No, I can't do it. I can't do it. I just can't eat just plants. I need a piece of meat. If it gotta be a piece of chicken, if it gotta be a piece of turkey, man. I can't just do it. I can't give up meat. I ate it since that time I was in the diapers. I was already eating a hot dog by the time I was able to walk and talk, man. I can't eat. I can't give it up. I can't give it up. It's like it's like crap. You can't just also, he says this. I'm messing with you. I ain't for everyone, George. Yeah, I know you mess with me, but I'm gonna keep man. Yes, sir. So now you actually got your shows planned. You got everything that's down. What, like I said, what would you like to see more happen in your sport? Or as more recognition, you want to see more acknowledgement. As you know, even bodybuilding is not on television. I mean, remember when I was a kid, I used to catch the Olympia on NBC. I used to catch it on ESPN, and even those sports are pushed out from television. You can watch poker, and darts and cornhole on television. It's just, you're a basketball fan, that's, sport that's still going to be popular, but it seems like bodybuilding, even if it's non-natural or it's natural, it just doesn't seem like it has the place like it has in society.
Right. So definitely getting more um, media time, be that TV, be that live streaming, whatever platforms are available for people to be able to watch it. And that's how they'll learn about it.
Hmm. So, like I said, we do appreciate the lovely doctor's time. Thank you, doctor. You know, and one of my favorite shows was Doctor Who, the Doctor. I used to really
You're
watch.
just avoiding trying to say my last name. That's all.
Yes, I don't want
I got you, man. I got you.
yeah, yeah. How about Dr. Johnson? Is she safe with that? I can say
But
that.
that's my maiden.
You know
That's
the
not my
name. I
married
know
last
the name.
name.
I was calling everybody Dr. Megan, so that'd be
It's all good. There you
that's all
go.
good.
There you go.
That's all good. So I don't want to.
My nickname is Dr. Fit.
Dr. Fit. Dr. Fit. Dr. Fit. You know. So like, gotta be saying, hey, that's Dr. Fit over there. Yeah. But like I said, and so we gotta just your sport, I think deserves to get recognized just as much as the IPB NPC. I think there's a lot of people who are getting to want to be more. natural. Like my man Caleb about being vegan, about being vegetarian. Something I will never be. But I think it's the hard part about that because you do need those proteins to build that muscle. And like I said again, food is the most important part of about building the body. And without it, you just can't. If you like say fasting, it's not going to work. I know people. There's one thing about the sport. It's also the mental aspects of it because
Hmm.
it affects your mind, it affects your body. Also it can also affect your pockets, and that's why I say like this: if anybody out there who is interested in sponsor Dr. Megan, Dr. Fit, get her to the next level. Be genuine about your interests, because you know what, ladies like yourself who are in the sport, who working hard, trying to get themselves out there. You need that support. You need that sponsorship. We need more
Hmm.
people recognize it. Like even like I said, I'm going like I said again. I'll try to maybe reach out to more natural competitors and see if they want to talk and tell their stories. Because it's like this. Like I said again, my channel is about supporting bodybuilding. And I like this. No matter what form it is, it could be from NPC, IPB to your class and division. If you have anybody who's interested and want to talk and share their story, I'd be happy to have them on. The fact is, I'm a person who likes to give somebody support. Like I said, I want to be an advocate for you ladies because you do need the advocates. Because the fact is, people's going to look at you and look at the other sport and lump you all together, saying they're trying to be men, they're trying to be that, they're trying to be that. No, you're an athlete, you're a competitor, and
Hmm.
that's all what it is.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, we're not gonna hold much longer because this is already well, it's about bedtime for me. Oh, it's like this.
I'm hungry.
Yes, she's hungry too. She got to go eat. Yeah, I'm gonna probably pop in a sandwich and then hit the bed. So anyway, before we let you go, you have anybody you want to shout out to? Somebody your husband, your family, anybody you want to say thank you, whatever else.
Sure. Of course, always shout out to my husband. Let's see if he watches it all the way through to 57 minutes and actually sees this part. So, um, he's really wonderful and my biggest supporter. Of course, to my coach, and of course to um, my dad, and just all of my clients who always support me, and also just to the different organizations, to the IPL, to ICN, and to AAU, who have really created incredible experiences and opportunities for me.
Hmm. Well, we do appreciate your time, and we do wish for your best in the upcoming season, 2023, the year. Maybe might even see you come
The year of Jordan.
cross over to the dark side.
Never.
That's my other guy. I'm the other guy. He's the Joker. He likes anarchy and gasoline and making you are beautiful. But like I said, we do appreciate you, man. We do appreciate your time. We wish you all the best of luck for this year. I'm telling you, the week just already fly by. I mean, see, like the year just started, and now the week just already went through. I mean, yeah. Seemed like when I
Yep.
was growing up, it used to be like that. It seemed like birthdays and Christmas took ever to come, and now it seems like. But like I said, folks, if you want to reach out to Dr. Fit, Dr. Megan, her social media stuff is in the description. Reach out to her. Be genuine in your interests. Don't be that guy who I keep saying she has a husband. You don't want to see that. No D pics. Don't do it.
God.
That's stupid. That's borderline sexual harassment. Think about what you do before you do it. But like I said again, if you are someone out there who wants to sponsor these ladies in this sport, even if it's IPB, NPC, if it's natural, AEW, and other divisions, show your interest and support them. Be somebody say, Dr. Megan, I want to support you. I want to see you go to the next level. Whatever you need from me, no problem, no questions asked. And also, if you also want to promote, this sport, talk to the right people, get it on here. Like I said, we really want to expand any kind of sport, especially for women. We want to get recognition for these ladies and for all the competitors who compete in any division, be it NBC, be it IVB, be it natural, be the effort. Because the fact is, they put just as much time and work into it, and they deserve any recognition they deserve. It's just, as I said again, truthfully, they deserve it because they put as much in as anybody else. So I do appreciate your time, doctor, and doctor.
Thank you for
And
having me.
this is one of my quotes I like to say because I'm a big fan of the whole Batman Chris Nolan. At the end, when Jim Gordon said to Batman, said, "I forgot to thank you," and he turned around and says, "You never have to." Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So anyway, I like to thank man KL the Wanderer. Anybody who came through and watched this, who sat here for an hour. Hey, why don't we get conversation? We sometimes keep on going, keep on careful. But you got to eat. It's calling you, man. It's calling you, man. What like I said about me, hit myself a sandwich, hit the bed, go to sleep. Anyway, folks,
All right.
I appreciate y'all for coming through. Thank you for supporting, these ladies here in the sport. And reach out if you are genuinely interested. Reach out and just be genuine about it. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Anyway, thank you, doctor. I hope you have a
Thank
great
you.
and all the best of luck to you in the Cup season. This is your man all the way George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bottom Talk. Like, don't like, subscribe. Good night, good luck, and God bless.